Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Ballhawk, and this is my prep doc how-to manual video. Basically, just going through the doc itself, and going to be showing you some cool features. Basically everything that's in this document, and how to best or fully utilize its potential. One thing that I noticed as people have been talking to me after the creation of this document and going through and kind of finding bugs and letting me know what's going on, a lot of people have come to me saying that they just found out that they can do this or they can do that. It's so cool, and I've heard that enough now where I think it's time, with the size of this and just the sheer what am I looking for, the exposure that this document has got and the wide use of it. I think it's time that we have a manual of sorts, and so that's what this video is going to be. It will be linked in the document cover page, along, yeah, that's it. I don't know where else I was going with that. And then this video will be timestamped as well. So if you ever, if you want to just skip ahead to the relevant positions that you're looking for or the topics that you want to find out, feel free to take a look in the description below and go ahead and jump to those. Little introduction. If you don't know, my name is Ballhawk. I've told you that. But I am the owner of the Skypillar Stadium, and it's a modestly sized server. We got close to 200 people in there. We run draft leagues pretty much nonstop. We got a lot of fun, wonky sets formats that we're looking to roll out. But it's a good community. It's linked here in the cover page as well. So if you're looking to jump into a new server experience that's kind of built around the community, feel free to hop in, say what's up. We'll be happy to have you. We got a lot of good channels that aren't necessarily, there are some other channels that aren't necessarily based towards just Pokemon or just Draft League, so we got a little bit of something in there for everybody. So, and if it's not your cup of tea, that's, no worries. My feelings aren't hurt. So yeah, it's just there for your convenience if you're looking forward to it. And also, last bit of shameless plugging here. We've got my YouTube channel. The Skypillar Stadium, we have a podcast that was on a weekly schedule, but now is on a bi-weekly schedule just due to time constraints now and everything like that. But just another added bonus to being in the server. We've got a podcast that comes out every 2 weeks now that's geared towards the server, the leagues that are going on, just kind of an update, just entertainment for everybody that's in the league. We go over a lot of other stuff. We get in some pretty long tangents, some new fun topics that we like to talk about, discuss. Like, I think the most recent one we talked about was the the issue with freeze as a status as a whole, and I think we got some pretty interesting solutions for Game Freak to pay attention to. But yeah, that is my YouTube channel, and it's I do upload videos to it, but it's more or less for the Skypillar sit down and other YouTube or other like power ranking videos that we have post draft for the league itself. Without further ado, I guess we'll just start hopping into the manual. One thing I want to let you guys know before we get rolling. This is not I'm only one person working on this, so there are bound to be bugs or errors or mistakes in here somewhere. It's just the nature of the beast. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. So if you do find something that you feel like isn't correct, or you can verify that it's wrong, or it should be something else, or if there's something else that you feel like this is missing, feel free to reach out to me. I am on Discord. This is my Discord server, or my Discord handle, Ballhawk #0007. My DMs are always open. I'll never shy away from anybody that reaches out to me, and if you're kind and courteous, I'm gonna respond to you. It's just a matter of when I get a chance, which it's usually within the same day. So, but yeah. If you find, this is a community effort keeping this updated. So if you find an error or a bug, please bring it to my attention. We'll get it fixed, get it updated, and we'll get a updated copy rolled out to the community. So there is a naming convention for the doc. As far as megas go, they look something like this, Mega Charizard X or Mega Beedrill, whatever. Gmaxes have a Dash Gmax. Other regional variants, it's the base form dash the region variant, so like Darmanitan Galar or Ninetales Alola. And then forms that have a male or a female are sometimes designated with a -M or a -F. So that's that. That's it for the cover page. Let's roll on to the release notes page here. This page, what this is going to do is it's going to let you know everything that's active right now. So there have been quite a few iterations, and as you can see, people bring some stuff to my attention. There are some errors that I'm aware of that I know need to be changed or updated, and I'll do those, and I'll update it, and I'll rev the the document. If you're not aware of what that means, it basically just means that you're documenting that the document was updated, so you're giving it a new version number. So for those of you who aren't technically aware or professionally aware of what revving a document means, it just means updating the version of it and giving it a new name to signify that the version updated. So whenever I find a bug and I update it or I add a new feature, I rev the document, and right now we're at version 3. So this may change based on when you're watching this video. I may or may not create a new one in the future depending on how much the document changes. But at the time of this recording, we're on version 3, just finished about 5 minutes ago, and I'm excited to get this out to the community. It's been a pretty, I guess, a long coming update. It's been a long time coming, and I've been working on this quite a bit for the last couple weeks, so it's nice to finally have this done and get to a point where we can start getting it out to everybody to use. So the date for today, just for reference, it's January 21st, 2021, and that is your version 3 release date. So release notes, all it is just documenting what I changed, and just complete transparency and documenting the date that it happened and what version the document moved to. Next, I'm going to go ahead and show you all the tabs that are in here. Just get them all loaded up here real quick. All right, so the tabs that are colored are mainly for you, the end user. There are some here that once you create your copy, you can delete. For example, the cover page and the release notes and the move rec pages. Those 3 pages you can blow away. Once you make your copy, these are not needed. They will not hurt, they will not damage the document at all. They are completely separate in their own right. They are no longer needed once you make your copy. If you don't like them, you don't want the clutter, get rid of them. Blow them away. The type chart page and the links page are necessities for the document. These 2 must stay. These will be hidden upon you making your original copy of this. And if for whatever reason they become unhidden, what you can do is you can right click on the tab down here, come out to hide sheet, and it will now be hidden from your view. The links page. This is another question that a lot of people come and ask me sometimes. They ask me, how do you get your sprites in your document? And this is, universal throughout all of my league documents that I create. The prep doc here. If you want to add sprites to your documents, this is how you do it. This is another little gift that I'm giving to you all as just making your document. So for these small sprites, I've got a link name, and I'm basically using a Google Sheets formula to create the website link for the image here based on data from these columns here. And if you're familiar with Google Sheets formulas or Excel formulas, this should be pretty easy for you to pick up. And then over here, I'm using the image formula with an array formula to populate all of these. And one thing that I've learned in the past is that because you have these all populating, it doesn't slow your doc down at all to this point, or at least as far as I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, correct me. But as far as I'm aware of, having these images all populate like this does not slow the document down at all. And I'm sorry if you hear my dogs growling in the background. Populating these does not slow your document down at all. They only load once you you're viewing that part of the page where they're on. So the fact that these are here, it doesn't matter. And then for the big black white sprites or icons, I'm doing the same thing as I'm doing for these small icons. And then these are just the elemental sprites for the types. Alright, so then I'm going to go ahead and hide both of these again. Alright, moving on to the next page that you're going to notice or come by is the Teams page. The Teams page is where you're going to document and store all of your teams currently after your draft, or you can keep them here while you're drafting and just kind of populate it as you go. But the first thing you're going to want to do is when you're in a league, you're going to want to come up here and type in your league name. So for me, my league would be Sky Pillar Stadium. And you can abbreviate it with SPS or whatever your league's acronym is. And then you're going to select this drop down and select what format it's in. So Sword Shield is the current national dex, which includes everything in the entire Pokedex throughout the history of Pokemon. VGC 21 is only the Pokemon that are allowed for VGC 21. And it's self-explanatory as it goes on. You know, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is the entire Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon Nat Dex, and so on and so forth down to Red, Blue, Yellow. So you're going to select your version. You're going to type in your Pokemon's names. So I'm a big Rillaboom fan. So we're going to type in Rillaboom, and then a sprite will pop up right next to it. And then you can also store a nickname. So that's just, you know, a nice placeholder for, you know, if you like, you know, having consistent nicknames throughout your league for your Pokemon. This is a nice, easy way to store them all, so you don't forget them, so you don't have to store them in your head. You can write them down somewhere. And then from week to week, by the way, you're not going to want to delete these sprite columns. There's code in there that populates a sprite based on what Pokemon you type in for your team and your opponent's team. So don't delete those columns or that code, or else those sprites won't populate again. You'll have to come and make a new copy. So then on the opponent side here, this will be something where you're going to update from week to week. So let's say I beat this team or I lost to that team. I'm on to the next week. I'll delete that, come in and type in my new opponent. They've got a Scizor, a Rotom Heat, and a Goodra, and that's all that I know for now. We'll just leave it at that. That's where you type that in, and a lot of times if your league's team page has just one column for the team, where, you know, they got a wide column, you can just copy and paste it in there, or Control Shift V for just paste values. If this is something that comes across a lot of times, where some docs have M-Beedrill or Beedrill-Mega or Beedrill-M, something along those lines. Each league is different the way they document things typically. I mean, there's a limited number of ways you could do it, but a lot of leagues vary in the way that they document their Pokemon. If this is the case and it doesn't follow the same naming convention as this document, just you'll have to be aware of that. If the name is in a format that the document does not recognize, it'll give you this error. So then all you got to do is just come in here and fix your Mega Beedrill, and then it works. There's a large notes chunk where you can use it to write things that you think of as you're looking at the team here, or if you have a team built already and you want to store your Pokepaste in here, so that way if you lose all your browser's cookies or your history and you lost a team, you'll be protected because the paste will be in here as well. So that's just another thing that you could do. Or if you want to keep track of all the teams that you used for every week of that league, just whatever, you can use your imagination. These buckets here are just notes for whatever reason you might want them. And then this is the same throughout all 10 of the team slots. This is a new addition that we made from the last version. There were only 5. I had numerous requests to improve to expand that number to 10 at least, and so that's what I did. We jumped up to 10. So now you can store 10 separate teams in this document. So I'm just gonna change that back to what it was before. And next, let's jump into the matchup data. So this is, I guess, the bread and butter of the document. This is where you're going to get the most mileage out of it. First thing you want to do when you come to the matchup data is first select what league you're looking at, what matchup you want to look at from the drop down here. I have 2 leagues currently, 2 team matchups currently populated. I mean, they're not totally complete matchups because they're not full teams, but it's just it'll get the point across for the sake of this video. So first thing you want to do is select your team from the drop down here. That'll populate the team, the sprite, the type sprites, the base speed, the abilities for both your team and your opponent's team. The type chart weakness section here illustrates what each individual Pokemon is weak to as far as types, as far as attacking types to that. So Rillaboom does not take fire very well. It's 2 times weak. Or here's a good one. Calyrex is 4 times weak to bug. It does not take a bug type very well at all. It'll show immunities because Zapdos Galar is flying and it's immune to ground. It'll show half weaknesses, things that just resist, or 4 times weak or resists because both types resist an incoming attack, like Slowbro Galar 4 times resists fighting type. This bar down here is another thing that people ask me about sometimes. It's an overall gauge for how well your team can switch into a type, or how easy it is for an opposing team to spam a certain type of attack against you. So the general rule that this follows here is if you have more resists than you do weaknesses to a certain type, the box below it will be green. If you have more weaknesses than resist for a type, it'll be red. And if you have the same amount of resist that you do weaknesses for that type, it'll be gray, meaning that you have neutral resistance against it. So, and these are all the types that it's looking at here. That is the team type chart. Next section to the right, we have the stats section. This will go through and it'll lay out the entire stats of each Pokemon that are on the team matchup. So it's sorted by HP, or it's listed by HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, and base stats, or total base stats. The default is just the way that it shows up in your team page, where we had Rillaboom listed first, so it's going to show up first. The other thing that I like to do here is you can select this drop-down menu, and you can choose to sort it by, let's say I want to look at the speed here. You can choose to sort it by speed, and it'll highlight that speed column, and it'll sort them from highest to lowest on both your team and your opponent's team. And you can do that for any stat that you want. And if you want to clear that sort, all you have to do is just click back into that cell and press delete or backspace, and it'll default back to the original. And whenever you want to go back and resort that again, just click the drop down menu and click it again. Coming down next, we have the tracked moves section. This has expanded a lot since the last version of the document. We had a lot of requests come in. We had some VGC spread moves that were wanted. Trapping moves was a good thing. Trapping moves and abilities. Weather, terrain, more support. A lot of things that were more geared towards VGC. And just new caveats in general towards singles. So these are separated by what group they fall into. So hazards, momentum, healing and cleric, priority, trapping, phasing moves like haze, whirlwind to get rid of stat or boosts, general status moves, You got terrains, weather, VGC spread moves, support moves, and speed control. If a Pokemon on your team has that, their icon will show up here. And same with your opponents. That's basically the gist of that section. Coming down farther, the last thing on the matchup data page is a newly and completely revamped speed control section. So, what this does now is it'll show you the base speed ordered from fastest to slowest through all the Pokemon in the matchup. That is all this part offers right there. Next, we have a complete team speed comparison section where you can choose the level between 100, 50, or 5, depending on what format you're playing in, whether it's VGC, net or the default Nat Dex or Little Cup. You can select the amount of EVs that you want. Let's say I want to see max speed with 31 EVs, level 100, no boosts with a positive nature. Now they'll show me the max possible speed for each one of these Pokemon before any boosts take effect. Oh, but you want to see boost? Oh, okay. Let's see what +6 does. 1708 speed. Damn, Beedrill's fast. And if you want to, let's say you want to see, okay, what does +1 everything here look like against a neutral speed over here? Well, these settings apply to this column. These settings apply to this column. So, let's see. I've got everything lined up. The only difference is I have 1 boost over here versus 0 boost. So, what this shows me is that a Choice Scarf Max Speed Rotom Heat, because it's got a +1 boost from the Choice Scarf, can outspeed a Max Speed Mega Beedrill before any speed boosts. So, you can kind of start to see where this can be a pretty powerful tool. Trying to see, you can see what a base speed looks like compared to a max speed for, let's say, you want to see how, can a base Galar Zapdos, with a neutral nature, or a max speed with a neutral nature, outspeed, let's say, Rillaboom. Now you can see that kind of thing. Next, if you want to take it a step further still, we have an individual comparison section. So, I was able to fit 4 of these slots in here, and basically all this does is it does what you see over here in the complete speed comparison section, and drills it down 1 step farther, so I can select any Pokemon that shows up in the matchup right now. I can choose what stat modifiers I want to give it. I want to see neutral, max speed, and I want to see what does it take for Spectrier, or what does Spectrier need in order to outspeed this. So I can see that it clearly needs at least 1 boost. Doesn't necessarily need to be max speed with 1 boost, so let's see what 0 EVs does for it. I don't need... So what this tells me here is a Choice Scarf Spectrier with 0 EVs, speed EVs, can outspeed a max speed Mega Beedrill. How about a neutral natured? So this tells me that I can run Modest Nature on my Spectrier with a Choice Scarf, 31 EVs at level 100 with a neutral nature, and outspeed a max speed Jolly Mega Beedrill. So you can do this. There's nothing that really tells you, like, says this is faster than that or that's faster than this. It's just using your own intuition here to kind of make these settings and calculations on your own. You can have 4 of these in here at one time. To clear them out, you just click on the cell, click delete or backspace, kind of like the or sorting section above, and that'll take care of that for you. There are, the basic showdown damage calculator settings, basically where you can choose the boosts. I don't have like exact natures, but you get the gist of what each nature does, whether it boosts, negates, or is neutral towards the speed stat, and then I have only 4-point increments for the EVs, just like you would in the damage calc, and IVs go from 0 to 31. That is the team matchup data page. So from week to week, this is what you're going to be using to take a look at your team versus your opponent's team and kind of help yourself decide how do you want to attack your opponent, what's the fastest thing in the field, what speeds do you need to hit to outspeed everything. So it's it's a very helpful tool. It tells you, what moves to look out for if you have hazard control, if they have hazard control, if you have a lot of momentum and they don't, how do you want to approach the matchup? This will kind of help illuminate and paint a more clear picture for you from week to week. And if you want to take a look at the next matchup, just select your league, whatever other league you want to look at from the drop-down menu, and everything will change for that. Come down here and clear these, because these are showing me an error now because they are no longer in the matchup that you're viewing. So they are irrelevant, and they will not show the stats for you. All right, that's it for the matchup data page. Let's head on to the last page of the prep doc, the draft headquarters, or DraftHQ. So this is what I use to build all my drafts to this point. It's just a miniature or I guess dumbed down version of the matchup data page. It's scaled back. That's the word I'm looking for. It's scaled back and it doesn't have quite as many features as the matchup data page, but it's geared only to your team. So what that means is this menu in the upper left is where you're going to enter in your team as you're drafting it. This is where you can enter in your points budget if it's a points-based draft. And this will tell you how many points you have left. So let's say I'm drafting a Mega Charizard X, and it's worth 17 points and an 18-point cap. That means that my 1 to 10 budget now comes down to 93 because I spent 17 points on this Mega Charizard X. It does the same things, the Stat Central does the same thing as the Stat Central does from the matchup data page. Let's get another Pokemon in here. Let's say Deoxys Speed. And we want to sort by speed. It'll put Deoxys in front because it's got a higher base speed. It has the same type chart concept as before, but the added feature here is the type count. So what this does is it'll tell you how many of that type your team has. So right now I have 1 fire type in Mega Charizard X and 1 dragon type also in Mega Charizard X. And I have 1 psychic type in Deoxys Speed. So let's say I add a second fire type with Ninetales. Now you see I have 2 fire types. So it'll tell you, it'll help you have more awareness for type overlaps as you're going forward, as you're building your draft out. Over here we have a scaled down version of the move tracker. So 4 general sections, stat or a hazard setting, hazard removal, momentum, and healing cleric support. These are generally what you're going to look for in your singles drafts. There may be a feature down the line where we have some way to change these, like a drop-down menu as far as what feature or what types of moves you want to look for at that moment. But that'll be something down the road. I'm not sure if I'm ready to tackle that yet, but it's on my radar. And over here, this is where you're going to select the format for your draft, and then this is just a small basic checklist that I put together to help you form a better draft. So these are just common things you're looking for in a strong singles draft. Once you have them, you can check them off just to help you keep track. And if you want to clear it out, just delete it. And then that's it. So another way you can track multiple drafts is you can just right-click on this tab, create a duplicate. This may take a while now because this page is kind of big. So one thing that I did to help optimize this was, before I had a separate dex sheet for each format. One thing I did is I went and put the moves that are specific for each format and the actual Pokedex itself for that format below. Like in the same page here for this DraftHQ page has all of the format dexes. It has all the moves tracked for those dexes. And same thing with the matchup data page. So the reason why I did that is because having all those things on the same page helps speed up the formulas that go and grab that and sort those things out. And because there's so much data there, it's just helpful to have it, every bit of speed that you can from that. So just bear in mind that when you make a copy of this, it might take a little bit longer. But then when you're ready to get rid of that, you just right click on it again and delete it. And you are, there you go. You're right back to square one. My computer has been a little bit slower lately. But yeah, there you are. So, and you can come down here and rename these, but I wouldn't, just because, I'd hate to see something, break. I don't think it'll happen, but it's probably safer just to leave them named the same way they are. But yeah, that is it. I will be posting the link for this manual video in this section here below in the cover page. This video will be time-stamped, so each section in the video where I'm covering a specific part of the document will have its own section in the video. And if you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a like. No, I'm just playing. This is here for your benefit, the community's benefit. So, if this helped you out in some way, helps you build your teams from week to week, helps you build the draft, what have you. I'm glad. That's the whole point of why I'm doing this. I feel like this is something that's been needed in the community, just to have something that people can fall back on to help them. Just because draft league it's a tough format to get into and do well in, and there's so many hurdles, and this is just one piece of the puzzle, but having it available to you is going to help tremendously. So I hope this helps, and with that, I wish you all good luck in your leagues, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for using my prep doc. And again, I want to remind you, if you find any bugs or anything like that, let me know. There are bound to be, a few in here, just because I'm only one person and I can't see everything. So if you find something that needs to be fixed, let me know. Send me a DM. This is my Discord username. My DMs are always open. And I'll see you guys later.